Please, help me. He's gonna kill me.
Hello everybody, welcome back to Screenstars. I'm here today to bring you my review for the 2022 social media horror film Unboxed, a film that is directed by David Becerra and Eddie Del Carmen, and it stars Catherine Diaz as Laura. Now the film focuses on this Laura character, who is something of a social media celebrity. She does live streams, unboxings, all this kind of stuff, and she's getting a little bit of professional backing. She's starting to make a name in the social media world, and she then gets targeted by a psychopath, basically, and she goes live on this fateful Halloween night to do her Halloween stream. She gets targeted by a madman who basically sends loads of boxes for her to unbox that have got like really horrible and dangerous things in them. She has to continue the stream, otherwise people she knows are going to get hurt. So she's got to continue through the stream, try and keep herself alive and everybody else too. Right, what are my thoughts on Unboxed? Well, I think the premise here is pretty sound. I think social media type horrors can be reasonably well made and quite popular. They're quite simple things to do. They almost become like found footage type films. You know, they could be quite cheap, and with social media being so massively popular these days, you can understand why there are a kind of a lot of social media type horrors. Where does this one sit then? Well, this one sits, unfortunately, in the very low budget category. Now, that isn't always a bad thing. You can make a social media type horror on a shoestring budget. You don't necessarily need a big budget. Now, I think one of the mistakes that this film makes is it doesn't just solely focus on this Laura character and her stream and the problems associated with that. It kind of follows a few other characters as well beyond the stream, like the advertising company, if you like, that are kind of backing her, and some of her friends and trick-or-treaters knocking at the door. And for me, every time it did that and like took the focus away from Laura, number one, the budget of the film really jumped off the screen eater, because some of the performances aren't great from some of the other actors and actresses on display, and the production values aren't great as well. So you can really sense the lack of budget when it takes the attention away from Laura. Now, I think if this film would have focused far more heavily on the Laura character, in a sense of almost make it just a film solely focused on her with this live stream, I think it probably would have worked better. You probably would have hid the budget a bit better. And I also think that Catherine Diaz, who plays this Laura character, does a really fine job. I think she's got a potential career here as like a screen queen type actress. She does a really good job of actually holding the film together, because there are times in the film where she's obviously doing this live stream, but at the same time, she's being preyed upon by this lunatic, but with various different means, you know, making her put nail polish on, for example, that is poisoned or acidy or something that burns her, making her put dog muck on her face to pretend it's some kind of wonderful makeup, eating these awful things, and she's got to continue as normal, because she knows if she doesn't play along, follow the rules, so to speak, then people she cares for are going to get hurt or potentially die. So I thought she actually portrayed that desperation and kept the fine balance of trying to keep the stream going, but also trying to control her emotions and the fears that she was feeling. I thought she actually did quite a good job. So it almost, for me, was a bit more of a shame, because I think one of the strongest horror movies over the last 2 or 3 years has been Host, which you could argue is it's more of a found footage in many ways, but it's also like a social media horror as well. And I think if it had maybe solely focused on that, and then maybe right at the end focused a little bit more on the killer, I think this film might have worked a bit better. As it stands, I mean, there are so many problems with the film. For me, it felt like there was a distinct lack of tension for the most part. There's a cop knocks on the door that nobody would fall for. He looked nothing like a cop, acted nothing like a cop, and was dressed like a cop, like a costume you get at a costume store. This is what I mean. It dragged the film down, certain aspect of it. It's also one of those films as well where the killer is literally everywhere. You know, wherever you need him to be. If he's in the back of a car to take out a character, he's there. If he's in her house stalking her, he's there. Wherever you need him to be, basically, this film puts him where he needs to be, and it's quite a tired trope, I think, in slasher films, that sort of thing. So it's not what I would describe as a terribly bad film, this, because I do think Catherine Diaz as a Laura character kind of saves the film for the most part, but it can't. The budget can't be hid, really. The low budget really does let it down. Some of the poor performances let it down. The fact that it's a genre film that doesn't really add anything new to the genre in any way, shape, or form. It just kind of is shuffled into the low budget social media horror pack, and doesn't stand out from the crowd, unfortunately. So I'm going to give this one a 4 out of 10. It probably would have been less, but like I say, I do think Catherine Diaz kind of held this film together, and it's maybe just a bit of a shame that they didn't, like I say, focus a little bit more on her rather than some of the stuff surrounding her that just really didn't work for the film, certainly in my opinion anyway. So thanks for watching, everybody. I hope you enjoyed the review. I hope you found it useful. Of course, I will be back with loads more content on the channel very, very soon.